the scene opened. We started in the dimly lit office of Ord Casto, the Prophet of Truth. You guys had just gained an audience with him, and tension filled the air as the party confronted him, questioning the foundations of his teachings and the deity he claimed to serve. And while the exchange unfolded, Polaris slipped through the shadows and uncovered Casto's journal. Not a holy text, but a ledger of all the confessions he'd gotten and notes about how he could use those to manipulate people. Every confession he had heard was cataloged and annotated. And so Polaris tore the pages free, and with that, Casto started to notice that his control seemed to be slipping. And so he began to read some of the scripture in a conversation with Ghana, and he was kind of trying to explain the religion. But as he was doing this, kind of a shimmer crossed his eyes, and he began to try to pry into the minds of each of you guys. And specifically, Doc is where he kind of started to find a good foothold, and he was trying to dig in, looking for something he could use against you. And when you felt that intrusion, rage broke through like a storm, and you growled at him to get out of your head, and you took your trident and you threw it at him. And with that, of course, chaos erupted. Rusty seized up, her eyes glowing red, as Casto took control of her. And for a moment, she was lost. And as you guys continued to fight, his acolytes came in, tried to help him. You guys managed to disarm the acolytes and defeat them, and kind of get Ord Casto in a position where he was on his back on his heels. And you managed to break through to Rusty as well and get Rusty on your side. Finally, as all of the feel calmed and the sounds and the chaos calmed, Ord Casto lay defeated on the ground. And you guys had chosen not to kill him, but to defeat him with non-violent or non-lethal damage.
Oh, it was violent.
It was violent, but it was non-lethal. The combat was chaotic, and in the last moment, actually, it seemed like Rusty might try to seek her vengeance for the years of damage he had done to her. But you guys were able to get through to her mind and convince her not to kill him. And so you just knocked him unconscious. And so where we stand right now is in this room where Ord Casto lays incapacitated on the ground. One of his acolytes did come in and see all of this happening, and he ran. So now with the prophet defeated but still breathing, you, our party, find yourselves racing against time to pry the truth from him, and any other information you can get that might help in your journey before the rest of his order arrive. And that is where we will pick up for today. You are standing around the room. Casto currently unconscious. What do you want to do?
I'm standing there eating a couple of peanuts, just real casually at the moment.
Healing up a little bit.
Yeah, just a smidgen.
I want to tell you this. This is how we're going to handle the imminent entry of his order. I'm going to roll a d20. And that basically is going to give us a number of actions that you guys can do. That might mean Ez trying to break into this guy's unconscious mind and see what he's thinking about or dreaming about. It might mean you guys waking him up and asking him questions. But I will not be telling you guys how many... I'm not going to tell you how many turns you get. I'm just going to roll.
Ghana would kind of try to take the lead here. He'd look at Doc, tell him to secure the door. He'd look at Polaris and tell her to keep an eye on Rusty because Rusty was attacking us. And then she turned on him. So he doesn't actually know whose side Rusty is on at the moment.
So,
As
what is everyone else doing?
help me restrain him. And he's going to pull out rope from his
And then-
backpack.
Ez is going to pull out a bunch of leaves that he grabbed from his satchel.
Okay.
He's going to walk over with Ghana to Ord, and he is going to kind of hold out a hand to Ghana for the rope. Because he's already restrained body-wise, right? Or do we still have to restrain him body-wise?
Literally all that happened, the last thing that happened is you guys knocked him out.
Oh, okay. So then as Ghana's going for the rope to restrain him, Ez will actually pull out his own hemp rope, and he's going to, while he's unconscious, fill his mouth with leaves, and then pull the rope around and tie it behind his head so he can't talk or make at least audible noise from outside the room.
Okay. All right, so you've filled this guy's mouth with leaves. You're tying him up, and you told someone to go and bar the door.
Yeah, but as they're kind of tying him up, not assuming that Ez has had a lot of experience with tying people up, because he doesn't just assume people know. He'd actually commend you on filling his mouth full of leaves. And then as he's tying him up, he is going to make sure and show Ez, like, making sure that, like, his fingers are laced and tying his hands together. He goes, I saw him use magic. It is important to make sure that both his hands and mouth are restrained as well, so that he cannot use somatic or verbal components. There are many spells that only need one.
I appreciate that. I thought of the mouth, but I didn't think of the hands.
All right. So you guys have taken basically one action so far, it sounds like, to get this guy bound. You've put leaves in his mouth, you've tied his hands up, you've tied him up all together. This guy's now bound and gagged in this room. And you also, I think you said you guys are barring the door as well, right?
Yeah.
He asked Doc to whether he does it or not is another story.
And Polaris, what are you doing?
I think I'm going to take oh gosh, her name is completely left my brain all of a sudden. Our bird friend.
Rusty.
Take Rusty aside, like over to the couch area and pull out the papers and have her like, hey, help me find the ones that are going to be the most useful, because inevitably people are probably going to show up, to basically find the most useful ones for evidence to the people of the town. Like, who's got the big name here? Like, where can we get from these papers? Because some of these are going to be really old. He's been around for a long time. So, like, what are the most recent ones? What are some big names we can find out of here to pull out to the front of these papers?
Got it. Okay. Cool. So that's one turn. So you've got this guy bound. You've got Rusty looking through all these notes that you guys were able to steal, and you guys have barred the door, and that is one action. What do you want to do next? He's still unconscious. The room is still yours. You don't hear anyone coming yet.
So Ez is going to, after, he's bound, he's gagged, he's still unconscious. Ez is just going to kind of set his hand on his head, and he's going to just start pushing into his mind. And he's going to try to get as deep as he can, as fast as he can, before he wakes up.
Okay, so this is Detect Thoughts?
Yes, Detect Thoughts, which is his last spell slot.
All right. So you cast Detect Thoughts, and because he's incapacitated, can't resist. So you're gonna get in, and just like normal with detect thoughts, you can get in. You can continue to dig deeper and deeper, but it takes additional turns essentially to continue to go deeper. So
he's going to try to get to the subconscious, however many turns, so to speak, that takes, is what he's going to try to get to.
yeah. Okay, so with this first turn, you get in, and all you're seeing is just his dream layer of thoughts, what's happening there. And it's just kind of chaotic. It's still like he's just dreaming of the battle that just happened and violence, and he's angry, and all of that is what's happening at the surface level. And so with your next turn, you'll be able to push through that surface level kind of dream layer and into his subconscious. But that'll be your next action. So for this round of actions, is anyone else? You guys,
I will
Polaris
also
and
let
Rusty, you guys
know
are.
that I am pushing into his mind. Like, I'll verbally say that I'm pushing into his mind, so that everyone's aware.
Oh, great. Okay. So you guys know that Ez is doing this. Polaris, as you are going through these pages, if you want, we could roll maybe like investigation to see if you find anything particularly useful.
Okay. We need 21.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Nice. Good start to the
gosh,
day.
hold on. My audio. I don't know how this works.
With a 21,
1 second.
I don't. You'll have to let me come back to it. It's a good thing. We'll find a good piece of information for you to have gotten. Okay.
There we go. I think it's better. Nope. I think now.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. If anything makes sound other than Zoom, it seems to mute Zoom automatically.
Oh,
interesting.
Unfortunate.
Really weird.
That's in your settings.
Yeah, I don't know how to change that, but okay, I rolled a 21. That's
Okay.
as far as I
Yay.
got, because it made the rolling sound, and that's what broke it.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, you could just mute your browser.
I just muted. I muted the browser, but it wasn't before. It is now.
Sweet.
Okay. So I will come back to that. Give me a few minutes, and I'll come back to it and let you know what information you found about what kind of useful information you found. But that does mean you and Rusty will find some useful information. I would say in the moment, maybe Rusty looks at you. This is all happening very fast, right? Turns are 6 seconds long. So over the course of 6 seconds, Rusty's reading through, she sees something, and she looks at you, and she you can tell like this is important information. But she doesn't have time right now to explain what is so important about it. Okay. And then Ghana and Doc, what are you guys doing as Ez is pushing further in?
I was gonna say, Ghana would turn to Doc. He goes, Doc, why? What was the plan? What are we doing now?
The plan was...
Go.
Oh, the plan was to talk to him and push him, but the second this guy was in my brain, I was done. And we're not playing that particular game with anyone. I would say at this point, let's figure out how he was doing what he was doing. How did he get into my mind? Was it a spell? Was it an item? How was he doing this? And how does he have all of this information about people? Like
he would cut you off. He goes, we are in a temple full of his followers. Why? If your intentions were to get information, this was not the way.
I think that Doc would hesitate for just a moment and then say, I think that's the difference between, I think that's the difference between someone who has my background and yours. Regardless, let's get what we can and figure out a way to do this better next time. But now's not the time to argue about why. We need to figure out information, and then when we're out of here, we can argue about anything else. And he says this as he's shoved the desk up against the wall.
Okay, so technically that was the turn.
Yep.
But can I ask, looking at Ez and looking at Polaris, how are they looking? Like
Ez is fine.
HP wise?
I think you guys were all pretty. I think it was mostly just Doc that was low on health, right? You guys can tell me. How are you guys?
So,
how is your HP?
all right, so
I
how
mean, you
is
guys doing
Doc
pretty
looking
bad?
right now?
I mean, he ate a peanut, so he's a little bit better. But
Each
not
turn
great.
you're eating another peanut.
Yeah,
as you
each
guys
turn-
are
that's
as
my
you guys are
bonus
fighting, you're
action.
eating another peanut.
I'm eating another peanut.
Yeah.
All right, so you ate 2 peanuts so far.
I
That
think
was 2
Polaris
turns.
should be eating some peanuts as she's looking through these papers.
Okay, and I'll
Because
allow that. So as you guys are
as
doing
he's
this, you guys are
looking
healing
around,
back up.
like Ghana expects there to be acolytes that come try to liberate their leader, so he is expecting more combat. So he's looking around trying to figure out how are we going to get ourselves ready for another combat.
Okay. So you're looking around for things. You're not necessarily listening
Trying to
for.
just see who's looking bad, and then like if there's somebody that is looking very low on health, he'd probably take his next turn to try to offer them peanuts if they don't have him,
Okay.
because he has peanuts on him.
Part of me, I don't think Ghana would actually say this, but part of me is like, as you're fighting with Doc and frustrated with him for having started this fight, that you would see him take a bite of one of these peanuts and be like, "You don't deserve that peanut. Give it back." Oh man.
Not yet, not yet. We haven't clashed heads that hard.
All right. Okay. So, that's that turn. So now a moment has passed. All of these things have happened. As you are now pushing a little bit further in, and you're starting to get past all of these dreams and kind of the surface level thoughts that he's having, and you're starting to get into things that are now. It's a world that, I don't know how many times you've done this before, but it's kind of a strange world to be in because it's all images and colors and shapes and feelings, right? At the subconscious level, you're not really forming linear, sentences. And so as you start to get in here, you start to be able to really feel and see and understand what's going on. And as you try to make out what's going on, what kind of specifically, is there anything in particular that you're trying to find? Any information that you're trying to look for in his thoughts?
As kind of punches through that barrier getting into the subconscious, he's going to open his eyes and look at Ghana. Wake him up and ask him questions. I will read him from his mind. His subconscious cannot lie to me.
Okay.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
since he's gagged, he can't answer verbally, but he's hoping that when Ghana asks a question, his subconscious is going to ping the question and answer it subconsciously. So he never really has to answer. Ez will just pull whatever that question's answer is.
Great. I do want to remind you of 2 things. One, this guy, when you knocked him out, he had a weapon on him, and he also still has his ring on him. And so those may be things that you guys want to take. I don't know. It's up to you.
Do we know that it was the ring doing it? We were in the middle of
that's fair.
combat with him.
I
He
didn't
talked
think-
about his ring, and he
Was-
put it
Yeah.
on as the battle begun.
You would have maybe noticed that it was glowing. I think we did mention that his ring was glowing whenever he was using his
He did a
mind
whole thing
infiltration.
about his ring. Like he was like,
Yeah.
"Ah, yes,
Okay.
my ring."
But I think you guys know. You may not know exactly what it does or how it works, but I think you guys do know
All
that
right.
it had some magical
we'll say-
properties.
As he was tying up his hands, he removed the ring.
Okay, so Ghana, you took the ring. And so, okay, so you guys, as you've gone a little bit deeper and you tell the party to try to wake him up.
Yeah, and ask him questions.
And if this is round 3, then Ghana would take as his lead on this because he's the expert in mind stuff. He is going to spare the dying and then lick him in the forehead to wake him up.
Great. Okay. So you see Casto wakes up, and as he comes to, you see him looking around, and he is angry. He's clearly, not happy about the situation. But
Ghana
he's
is still
securely
like
fastened.
straddling him, like on top of him, so that he cannot like sit up.
Yeah, dude has a literal elephant sitting on him. He's bound. There's nothing he can do. And so he's looking around. He's just, his eyes are like daggers looking at you guys.
He looks up and he goes, I would like to continue our conversation.
Great. Okay, so he's just staring daggers at you guys. And you say that. And so what do you guys want to ask him? I'll give you a chance to ask a question as part of this turn.
I know what Ghana wants to ask him, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's what the party wants.
Yeah, all you guys going to come to a consensus on it.
I'd say Ghana, as I trust your. He would say, take the lead. I don't have a preference. Let's just get information.
As would kind of hint, we need to know information on the other ministers, on the other people who work with him, where they are, what they do. We need to learn how to navigate this world. We need to learn. And as his face is going to get like really, you can't tell if he's like scared, sad, or angry, but then he's going to say, and we need to find where these undead came from, why they are here, and how he got them and turned them. And his hand is going to kind of like clench a little harder on his head.
All right. So whoever wants to kind of lead the line of questioning, I'll need to know what is the one specific question you're going to focus on for this first question.
Unless Polaris is going to jump in, because I do know she's the investigator, but being that as just told Ghana what information we're trying to, I guess the first question he would just blurt out is, who gives you your orders? And what is your objective?
Interesting. Okay. Do you ask him who gives you your orders and what is your objective?
Yeah.
Okay.
That kind of covers a spectrum of things.
So as you ask this, obviously he can't respond. He just looks at you, kind of makes some muffled noises like he's trying to respond in an angry way. But as you see, as you can see in his mind, a few things. As he asks the first part of that question, you can hear or you kind of see an image of this massive, almost monstrous, shadowy. It looks like a Triton in shape. They've got the gills and the fins and all that stuff, but it's just a shadow, and it's like it looks almost like just like this, like a demon, like this monstrous presence, and you don't hear but almost feel in your bones just the word Velrath. And you've never seen Velrath before.
Are there any emotions affiliated with that image?
As the word Velrath comes to mind for him in his subconscious, and as he's thinking about that, and especially in this situation where he's just been sort of defeated, there's a sense of both like anger and fear. Like, he thinks about Velrath, and the moment that comes to mind, there's a reminder of like he's scared of this guy.
As
They're not
then
equals.
whispers, not like too quiet, like Ghana can hear, but he kind of whispers with his eyes closed again, Velrath. And then he kind of opens one eye at Ghana and smirks. He's scared of him. And then he closes his eye again to listen to the next part.
And then, Ghana, you also asked what's his goal.
Yeah, like what is their objective?
So you just see an image of all the dredging ships and all the creatures working on it, and him just kind of like a little moment of a movie where it's like these dredging vessels coming and going, undead sailors being sent, and him shipping back anything that was found by the dredging vessels, shipping it back to the citadel of Velrath. And you just get a sense of duty. There's no clear understanding of what the purpose of all of that is. He's just doing it because that's what he's been told to do, because he has to, because otherwise something will happen from Velrath. And so he obeys. But you also kind of get this feeling of like he's just, his goal, his more personal goal is just, he just finds deep satisfaction and pride and control. So he, his goal is just to control this town and to dominate it. And that's all he wants in life, is for people to respect him.
The
and
boss's
obey him.
goal is the dredging ships.
Yeah, his commands that he's been given is running these dredging ships, and you don't get any clear information or understanding of. He seemingly doesn't know the why
They're looking
behind
for
the what.
something.
Right.
Yeah, he
doesn't
doesn't
know
know
the big
why
picture.
they're doing it. He just knows he has to send the ships out. He's given sailors, and he sends back whatever they find.
Got it. And as would,
Okay.
of course, let Ghana know that too.
Yep. All right, that was your third round. What do you guys want to ask him next? I'm gonna assume you guys are all kind of gathered around.
Has
Yeah, go
Polaris
ahead.
figured out stuff with the papers? At this
Yeah, we
point?
haven't figured out what she found yet. Because
Oh, right, yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so
change what we ask.
That's good
yeah,
point.
no, good point. So you've now had
Yeah.
a chance to look closer at this piece of paper, and what you realize it is a list. So there's within this, most of this, like out of, you just pulled out like a bunch of pages, but toward the
I
back
pulled out
of
all
it,
the pages.
Yeah.
right. So there's this big stack. Most of it is what we talked about before, right? It's all of these just list of like, Carl was deeply in debt, and so never actually liked growing oranges, and whatever, all these things. But toward the back of it is a list, and it's just a list of all of the undead that are sent, but they have names next to them. So it's just a list of like basically shipments of undead that come from Velrath, and next to each one is a name, and then some of them, really the majority of them, have been crossed out, and next to it will say like fell into the ocean, or fully decomposed from the sea air, or like whatever happened to them. It seems to be a list of like why they're gone. And then the ones that haven't been crossed out seemingly are the ones that are still here and working on these dredging ships. And so you have a list of the names of all of these undead. That seems to be what he's using to keep track and report back to Velrath on the workforce, so to speak, that he's being provided.
Do I recognize any of those names as they might match up to those vaguer code names that were on the ship's manifest? It's like, do I recognize any of those names?
You could roll for history to see if you can remember names from.
I mean, I should have the manifest with me if I want to compare, but I don't know if I have the time to compare.
Yeah, so if you want to use a turn, your next turn, to actually like put them side by side, then you can actually compare and see if you're recognizing any names. But without even doing that on this turn, you can just see what you remember.
I'll do the history check, you said?
Yep.
I'll do the history check because I feel like if I roll well enough for it to at least feel like I recognize a name, then I'll have her actually like pull out the manifest and do a comparison.
Right.
And
I'll let you do it with
just to kinda
advantage
guide.
because this has been your obsession. So you've been poring over that manifest over and over. You've got those names pretty well in your brain.
Okay. 16. The other one was a 1. Oof.
Oh, good. Okay, so with a 16, yeah, you can at least remember it. You have a hard time placing, but you're like, some of these names feel very familiar. Not all of them, but there's some of them that you're like, oh yeah, these match up with names that were on those shipping manifests from Portolus.
Okay, then she's gonna call out to Ghana and be like, some of these, I have a list of names of the undead. Some of them are names from the cargo manifest, and then she's gonna start just digging through her bag to find the cargo manifest in her bag and start finding how many names can she line up and match to that.
Got it.
So
Okay.
Donna's already thought of 2 more questions.
Okay. Doc, are you doing anything else as this is going on? You can kind of help collaborate with coming up with questions, or you can maybe put your ear to the door to make sure people aren't coming.
I think Doc would grab that trident. That'd be one thing he would do. And take it and
His trident.
yeah, the Ord's trident. So that would be what he would do on this turn, and maybe say, I want to know how he got into my head. How did he get into my head?
I thought we
Okay.
already said that. It was he.
But we don't. I want to know. We don't know how the ring works. We don't know. Like, we don't really know. Like, it's a magical ring. How
Right,
did
but
he do
during
it?
the conversation, he mentioned something about the ring is how he gets the truth out of people.
Did he? Man, I can't remember. Maybe he did.
My recollection was that you just would know that the magic
Ghana
was somehow
asked,
involved,
how
but you
did-
might not know how it works.
Well, Ghana
Okay.
asked, what deity gives you your powers? And he said something about there is no deity and something about the ring. Or he said, I don't need a deity. I have this.
Yeah, I remember
and,
him
he touched
saying
the ring.
it was the ring because then
that's
Ez,
right.
Yeah.
That's
Ez
right.
quipped
Yeah.
back saying, I don't need a ring.
That's
So
right.
if you want to understand it more than
'cause
that, you could ask. But that's
it
how much
caught
you know.
Ghana off guard because the moment he was like, I don't need a deity, he's like, you're a cleric.
Yeah.
like,
Hey, wait a minute.
like, what do you mean you don't need a deity?
Then I guess, since that would be a wasted question, Doc would ask, or say, we need to get whatever information we can about these other ministers out of the sky. Locations, weaknesses, anything that could give us an advantage.
Okay. So Ghana would look him in the eye. Says, you value control through information. Who are your allies and what secrets do you have on them?
Okay. As you ask that question, so we're now going into round 4 here. As you ask that question, he looks at you, his eyes enraged. He clearly is verbally trying to say all kinds of horrible things to you. It's a good thing he's muffled because it's a family-friendly stream. And
This
they don't
is
hear.
Yeah.
this is a Christian mind. No, D&D.
Yeah. So, so you can't hear what he's saying, but as you are in his mind, you get a vision of a few things. One, again, and you guys knew a little bit of this. You know, you had been told already that there's 4 of these ministers, and he was one of them. You get a vision of these other 3. One of them is very kind of shadowy. It seems like maybe he's never actually seen this person before. He just has this kind of mental image of one of them. And he's kind of mysterious, and he's in this like far away, an island pretty far away in this bog, and but it's like there's this fog around it. You can't really make anything out beyond that because he doesn't seem to know much more about this guy. But it's this is the one that he seems to have the most wariness about, and a mix of like respect and almost a similar fear to like Velrath himself. This guy is not someone that Ord seems to feel good about or trust, or he's very unsure about this figure. The next one is this sort of eccentric, sort of mad scientist looking guy who he seems to be pretty familiar with. He almost seems to have like a friendly relationship with this guy, and emotionally that kind of connection. And he's got all kinds of robotics around him, and even a bunch of robotic parts on himself, this scientist. And then the third one is almost like bathed in light, and he's this kind of suave, polished, very, very fancy looking guy, in just surrounded by this beautiful, polished city. And in this mental image, he's just kind of laughing and holding a cocktail as some other people are around and listening to him. And so you get these kind of glimpses of these other ministers that he works with. And in terms of like specific information about them, there's not a lot. There's not like in terms of like feelings and images and subconscious. The only thing that you do kind of pick up as he's trying maybe to not, it's like when you say don't think about blue elephants, like, or blue penguins. Maybe blue elephants is I don't know,
distasteful.
Like, distasteful when with the locks it on.
There's literally a blue elephant right in front of him.
He's trying not to think about it, so it comes to mind. You do see an image of these. What are the stones? Speaking stones, I think they're called, right? That allow you to communicate
sending
with people
stones?
over long
Yeah.
distances. Sending stones. You get an image of these sending stones, where it's a collection of 4 that all seem to allow them to communicate with each other and with Velrath. So that's how they receive information from Velrath and how he has them talk to each other. And so somewhere in his, you kind of get this vision that somewhere in his desk, he has his sending stone that he uses for communication with these guys.
As we'll point to the desk to emphasize the sending stone.
Polaris will hop up and go start rifling through the desk, and leave Rusty to keep like looking through the papers, sorting out which ones were the most like beneficial.
Perfect. Okay. Now, as you've done that, Doc, you start to hear the bustling of noise outside. You hear like feet and not so much like armor, but like clinking weapons, the general noise that like a small group of people. It doesn't sound like hundreds of people or anything, but maybe, I don't know, maybe if you wanted to roll perception, you could see how many. But you hear that there's some people starting to gather outside of the room, and you hear a knock on the door. So you guys will have time for one more action before they actually would knock the door down.
Now, we did push the desk in front of the door.
Oh, that's a good point. You'll have time for 2 more actions, because you can do one thing, then they're going to try to knock the door down, and they'll fail because you pushed the desk.
Ah,
So, what do you guys want to do? What next question do you want to ask?
Polaris is searching the desk while they're doing their final questioning.
Okay. I won't make you roll for investigation. I think it's not necessarily super hidden. As you start to dig around on his desk, you find that sending stone. And everything else in there seems relatively trivial. It's paper, it's pens, it's, I don't know, miscellaneous knives and things that he might have that he would use for self-defense.
Okay, she'll pocket that and let them know
Great.
I got the stone, and hold it up and then pocket it.
Okay.
I would say you could ask him why he's so afraid of this Velrath.
That's literally like, I'm trying to find the wording for it. Because like literally the words that came to mind were like, I guess I'll just wing it. He's gonna look at him. As I have found in my many years that those who desire the secrets of others also have the darkest themselves. You fear your commander. What doesn't he want us to know?
You're asking what doesn't he want you to know?
Basically, like, he fears Velrath, like, for
Right.
a reason. So what is it that Velrath would not want him to tell us? Because
Oh.
I don't know what he's trying to hide from us, but if I ask, what is it that he would not want you to tell us, he'll just fill in the blank.
I see. Well, I think as you ask that, well, yeah, this is maybe something that I didn't plan on you guys knowing yet, but that since you're asking,
Yeah, that's always the
you're gonna
risk.
know.
That's always the
Yeah.
risk when you give players with
No. I think
agency.
it's fine. That's the point of D&D. So, as you ask that question, as you see in his mind that same image of Velrath kind of return, and that same sense of just total dread and like smallness. Right, this is a guy who in this town is big and everyone fears him, and in this room he feels like nothing. That feeling, and in front of you, you see in this sort of image, it's like Velrath steps from the darkness and into the light, and you see this hulking, strong, frightened, bigger and stronger than any you've seen before, and you see. There's one of two things, and I'm trying to decide which of these two is going to be the thing that you would know. I think in this moment, what you see happen is you see him look up, and you see Velrath call upon some kind of a power beyond himself. And as he does, he takes on a new form. He transforms in front of your eyes, and he goes from being this big, hulking, powerful Triton that just has physical strength to taking on the form of the Lich that you guys saw in Portoluz. And he, as he does this, you see this army of undead kind of rise up behind him, and a line of people being brought to him and turned into undead one by one. And the vision is just kind of that scenario on loop.
Got it. As we'll let everybody know what he saw.
Okay. As that happens, you hear the door. The first kind of the people come and slam against the door, and they're trying to break in. The desk starts to budge a little bit, but hasn't actually moved yet. As a reminder we don't have the map pulled up and we don't need it, but there was only one door into this room. There is also a large window on the far side of the room. Otherwise, it's all stone walls, and just furniture and stuff. You have one turn left to try and either get out of here or make preparations for these guys to come in.
As we'll
And gals. He might have female acolytes.
as we'll kind of
Tiffany.
perk up, and
She's dead.
and
She's the only
he'll
one.
kind of look at everyone. You guys set up a plan to get us out of here. I have one more question to ask him. And then Ez points at his forehead and uses message into his mind.
Okay.
And asks him, where do the undead come from? And have you ever heard of a wood elf by the name of... And then he is going to give his mom's name because player cannot remember his mother's name. But
Oh,
obviously
yeah,
Ez
that's
would.
right. Yeah, of course. I was like, what was his name?
What's my mom's
So
name?
he goes back through his notes.
I always just knew her as mom.
Yeah, that's fair. That's actually a fair point.
You'd be surprised how many children don't actually know their parents' real name.
I was raised in a household where that was the case. I didn't know my mom's name until I was probably like 9 or 10 years old.
I was certainly not allowed to use it. Like I knew their names,
Oh,
but
I
was never
couldn't use it
allowed
until I was an
to.
adult. I couldn't use it until I was an
Oh,
adult.
I knew mine for a long time.
Yeah, it was like I had friends that would call their parents by their first name, and I was like,
I still
what is
can't.
that?
I still
Blasphemy.
could never call my parents by their first name or my friends'
That's
parents by
weird.
their first name. It just is just so ingrained in me. It's like it's not happening.
Yeah, I can't even
Ez's
use my
mom's
best
name
friend's mom's name.
was Lylan, Lielyn,
Lylan. Okay.
Lylan. And so you ask him this. Okay, I'll tell you what happens. First, what are you guys doing as he's getting this information? The rest of you preparing for these guys to get into the room.
Doc would I would look to Rusty and say, Rusty, should we try to get out of here, or do you think you can convince these guys to stand down?
Oh.
Mm.
Rusty looks to you and she says, look, this is unprecedented, but I think, we've got him bound here. I think if we have a little bit of a show of force here, and if I tell them what's going on, I think we can get them to stand down. They're going to see that their leader is incapacitated. They're going to see that you guys are in control. I think with my help, we can get these guys. We just need to make it so that when they come in, it is very immediately obvious that they do not want to mess with you guys. So whatever we can do to make ourselves, like when you're trying to scare away a bear, right? Like we just need to make ourselves look intimidating and not to be messed with.
I can bring the bear. Just kidding. He's not focused up here.
I would then take Tiffany and Carlos's bodies and put them in a place where they would easily be seen by or am I not going to be able to do that?
No, you can do that. Well, you absolutely can do that.
Gotta go. Like maybe I should. I move Tiffany and Carlos's body just enough so that when they walk in, they're gonna see that their pals are unfortunately gone. We can talk about that later. And then Doc would put his shield on his back and just dual wield the tridents. And just stand there, like looking like he's ready to go down with these guys if they wanna cause problems.
Okay, I don't think you have dual weapon fighting, but you're not fighting these guys yet.
I mean,
so if
not
you do go
really.
into
I'm
combat,
just showing it off.
yeah, you're just
There we
showing
go.
up, right?
Intimidation.
So tridents are versatile, so he can have two of them in his hands. He just can't bonus action attack with the other one.
Right. Yeah, to actually use them in combat might
But
be tricky, but you
intimidation.
can certainly hold them.
Yeah, this is intimidation. We're showing off.
Right?
What's everyone else doing? So Doc, you've laid these two bodies. I'm going to say literally it's like parallel to each other in the doorway. So as they open this door, they're going to see the two friends just laying there in front of them. They would literally have to like step over them to come in. And then you're just standing there, shield on your back, two tridents in your hands, trying to look as intense as you can. Polaris, Ghana, what are you guys doing?
Polaris is double handing some fire bolts,
Okay.
or just holding one. Got one kind of, crackling,
Sizzling.
waiting,
It's crackling.
sizzling.
Ez asked a question.
Yep.
Mhm.
But he's messaged,
So-
so no one heard it.
Right,
Yep.
but so Ghana cannot also answer a question. There's only because he can only answer one question per round, right?
Yeah, if you were to ask your own question, it would just make his mind kind of
Yeah.
muddied, and it would be hard for Ez to make out what's going on here.
Got it. All right.
Yeah, that's why I told
Then-
everybody that he had the question.
If that is the case, then Ghana is going. I guess he's going to just keep him restrained while he is going to ready the bless spell in case combat does break out.
Okay. So you are restraining, putting your weight on Casto. And I think in this moment, you look over at Rusty, and she just all of a sudden, like, you hear all these like internal mechanisms start to kind of lock into place. And it's like she kind of punches down into this like almost like jaguar mode. Like she just gets into like this beast, like I'm about to get into a fight. And her body has like reoriented into like a four-legged beast from her normal Aarakocra shape. And she's like, all right, this is all we can do. So you guys are readied. And as you are still peering into his mind, what you see is images of these shipping vessels coming across the sea and arriving full of people who are, their hands are tied, their mouths are gagged, much like how you have Casto right now. And they are brought up to the fortress of Velrath. And then you just see kind of, it's like, again, this is all kind of just like in his mind. It's not perfect, but you just kind of see this stream of people, all kinds of people. Some of them seem to be people that are from the Velcoran Islands, maybe dissidents or people who couldn't keep up with the taxation, whatever that might have been. And some of them look like to be people that are from Crespont. There's
Aswood's specifically trying to pinpoint elves, if he can.
Yeah, so you do see there's elves, there's humans, there's orcs, there's tabaxi, there's all kinds of people in this group. You even see some Azamir and some tieflings. And so it's this line of just indiscriminate, all kinds of people from both Crespont and Velcora. And this line goes up to it's the fortress, this citadel that's on its own kind of isolated island with this massive lighthouse on top. And as this line goes in on one side, on the other side you see this line of undead creatures coming out. And they go down to another ship, and that ship gets brought here, among other places. But some of those ships come here. And as then you specifically ask about an elf woman, you don't see any recognition of that name in his mind. But you also have a sense of confusion, like he doesn't really he has his book, but he's gone through hundreds of these undead servants, so he doesn't remember all of them. So it's like, it's kind of muddy, and he's like, I don't remember that name specifically, but there's been hundreds of them. How should I know?
Right. Got it.
So that's what you see. Before you really have a chance to even relay that, the door gets blasted open, and this group comes in, and there's like 5 or 6 of these acolytes there. And they're standing there, and they clearly seem like they came in ready for a fight. But they look up, and they see you guys in this situation. And behind them, there are some villagers who can kind of see in as well and see what's going on. The people that were in the church. And they very quickly recognize that you guys have, control of this situation. And Ord looks at them and is trying to say something angrily, but they look at you guys. Clearly, you guys have the upper hand. They throw down their weapons and they say, don't hurt us. We just, we were just here because he tells us to guard this place. We don't want to fight. Look, we're not trying to do anything. And the villagers from behind that kind of see that you guys have captured Ord are crowding around and looking to you guys. These acolytes and these parishioners are kind of crowding around the door and looking in and looking to you guys for information about what the heck is going on here, and why is Ord Casto been beat up and bound and gagged. And you guys now have an opportunity to address them and let them know what's going on.
Ghana, I think you're better with the religion stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay. Ghana would. I don't. He wouldn't get off of Ord because he's really the only thing keeping him like restrained.
I think you just stand up and you have your giant elephant foot on him.
On his chest.
We're just literally standing on him.
So they came in and said that, like,
They're all like crowded around the door, right? There's like so they're
they said they're
looking in.
not looking for a fight. They're just
Right, like
here
they
because
don't
he,
look
like,
like
told
fighters.
them
They
to
look
be?
like just people, or like what do they look like? I mean, are they?
The acolytes, yeah, they were people that like were his guards, but they're just people. They're not like trained militia. And as soon as they saw the situation, whatever fire they had in them coming into the room where they thought they were going to join Ord Casto in a battle, they saw that he'd been completely incapacitated. They see their two friends laying on the ground in front of them dead, and they just throw their weapons down. They're like, "Look, we know when we've been beat. Like, don't hurt us."
All right, then Ghana would stand up, put his foot, probably lay it, like roll him onto his stomach, and then put his foot on his back.
Mm.
That would be the more safe way to restrain him with just one foot. But as he turns to all of the followers, who among you follow this man of your own will?
You see the acolytes, a majority, not all of them, raise their hand. None of the villagers do.
Then he would say, who among you knows how this man retains his authority?
The acolytes, they kind of one lead acolyte steps forward and he says, Casto, he has raw strength that none of us could match, knowledge and wisdom that none of us could question, and of course, the force of Velrath himself behind him should any of us decide to rise up. So
you follow out of fear?
Well, I suppose some do. Those of us who have come to see the light, we see that the truth is all that matters. And, sometimes the truth must come through force. And so we follow him for positions of power. And because we believe that truth through force is right. Those of us who are faithful, and we've been rewarded accordingly.
You are honorable. However, I fear your leader is not. He's going to look at Doc because Ghana didn't want any of this.
You see one of the villagers in the back says, Is that Father Casto on the ground there?
Yes.
You managed to defeat him. No one's ever been able to even lay a finger on him before. We've tried to cast spells. People have tried to catch him off guard. He's always been able to nullify any magic and overpower. You guys, oh my goodness. And you start to hear some murmuring as people further back that couldn't see. They're starting to murmur, and kind of excitedly you hear someone say, Casto is defeated? And they push up toward the front. And they're starting to get pretty excited. You see the acolytes looking a little bit nervous as the crowd is getting pretty happy. And then one kind of older gentleman from the crowd steps forward and says, What do we do? Velrath is gonna come. He's gonna know. I mean, thank you for getting rid of Casto. He was a monster. How do we keep Velrath from sending his wrath upon us?
Ghana's just gonna look at Doc. Do you see the consequences of acting without thinking first?
I think Doc. I think I would say. I just.
Right, because like this town was under his control. Now that
Yeah.
he's gone, they suffer the wrath of his leader. How
This
are
is
we
gonna-
supposed to protect the town?
Polaris will pull it up a paw. Continue what he's been having you do. Carry on the facade, but do not use. And she has like all the papers, like confessions to manipulate one another and to harm one another. Keep the facade that things are continuing as wanted, but treat each other better. And you have a good chance that he will not come because nothing is amiss. The work is still going. There's no reason for him to come and be angry. The dredgers are still going. But don't manipulate each other like this man did. Truth is not a weapon to be used against your neighbor. It is supposed to be used to bring light to darkness. Don't do what he did. Continue the work if you must to keep your village safe, but don't do this.
Rusty. Oh yeah, go
will
ahead.
they-
Gunnar.
How will they keep the defeat of their leader a secret? We know
They
that
can
he
delay
is in
it.
contact.
Yeah,
As he gestures to the sending stone in your hand.
Well, it's in my- I
Rusty-
don't have the I had the papers in my hand, but the pot is in my pocket.
Yeah, but you said that
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah, it was in your pocket.
As being someone who kind of understands musical bardic things, maybe pertains or not, but kind of looks at Rusty, seeing that she imitated a voice prior. Can she just do it?
Rusty looks at you guys and
Pose.
says, "Look, you guys, this is right. If we can keep the dredging operations going just for a short time, look, these have never sat right with me. But look," and she kind of looks to the townspeople and says, "Look, if we can keep these going just for a short time, I will work with these adventurers. We can try to find and try to take down Velrath once and for all." She looks at you guys like, "I know we haven't talked about this, but like, just go with me for now." She says, "Just keep the facade going for a short time. I can keep Velrath off your back." And she looks and she puts her hand out asking for the sending stone.
Polaris is going to hand it over. She trusts Rusty at this point.
You see her look to one of the villagers and ask, or she looks outside and sees that it's sunset. She says, "The timing is perfect. Give me just a moment." And you hear some kind of mechanisms whirring and adjusting inside, and her voice completely changes. And from decades of experience being in such close proximity to Ord, she manages to perfectly emulate his voice through all the mechanisms in her body. And she opens activates the sending stone, and exactly copying his voice, she says, "Evening check-in, all is well. One undead lost. Will be replaced with new shipment. We'll check back in tomorrow." And she turns it off. And she says, "I will take this with me, and I will continue doing my check-in. He will not know any of anything going wrong. All you need to do is continue keeping the dredging ships going. And the cat is right. You guys just need to. This is your opportunity to treat each other better." She looks to you, Doc and Ghana, and Ez and Polaris, and she says, "What's up to you guys is what you're going to do with this guy, with Ord. Are you going to kill him?
Oh.
Or are you going to let him go?"
Ghana's gonna say, "And what of the followers? Will you silence them like the others?" As he gestures to the dead people. Because
Yeah.
we might be able to check in every day, but if the followers decide to tell on us,
No, you're right. She says no. We'll have to decide if we trust them. I will leave it in your hands, what you decide to do. And so as she has kind of, you guys have arrived at this plan where the town is going to continue this facade. Casto has given you some key information, and she has now offered to help you guys as you guys could go take down these other ministers, take down Velrath. But you now have a decision to make on what you're going to do with Casto and what you're going to do with his acolytes. As that scene is kind of set, and as you guys are faced with that decision, I think we'll take a short break. And when we come back, you guys will have to decide what you're going to do and where you're going to go next.
Hey guys, my name is Mark and I'm the lead pastor at Lux Digital Church. I hope you're enjoying the D&D campaign, the show today. I hope you're having a great time hanging out with the entire crew. And I also wanted to tell you that over in our Discord server, we have an ongoing Dungeons & Dragons West Marcher style campaign. That means you can jump in and play at any time that is convenient for you, as long as there's a game being offered with a variety of different dungeon masters and players. We have games that are posted every single month that you can join in with, starting at level 1 and going the whole way up through level 15 in D&D in the new 2024 5th edition rules. If you're interested in joining in and playing some D&D with us, all you have to do is join our Discord server at discord.gg/luxdigitalchurch, and then go ahead and grab the D&D rule, slide down inside of the channels to the Play D&D section. You can look there and find different videos on character creation, different elements of the world that we're playing in, and then you can submit your character and jump in and adventure off of the guild board soon. Once again, I hope you've been enjoying the show and the live stream, and we hope to see you over in the Lux Discord to play D&D with us very soon.